Hey everybody, Moshe Rothschild here for the Global Israel Alliance for the weekly update from Israel. Summary of the news for the week ending Friday, October 14th. This week, the Foreign Minister Israel Katz tweeted that he's working on a plan for Israel to sign an historic non-aggression pact with Gulf states. He said this deal would bring an end to the conflict with the Arab states in the region until a final status agreement could be signed, a peace agreement with the Palestinians. He said that during his visit to the UN, he presented his plan to Arab foreign ministers and to the U.S. envoy for peace in the Middle East, Jason Greenblatt. This week also is the fourth and final day of the hearings against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We will not know probably until the end of December if the Attorney General Mandelblit has decided to go ahead with an indictment of the Prime Minister. So in the meantime, we still have no official government or no elected government. The stalemate continues. Netanyahu, in a statement or in a vote from the Likud Central Committee, said that the Likud Central Committee voted to continue with Netanyahu as the head of the Likud party, and they will not support any other candidate as head of the Likud party. So that was significant this week. Also, it rained in Israel over this past weekend. The first rain of the year, considered a great blessing that it happened so early in Israel. It happened even all the way in the south of Eilat, got some rain. I was sitting in my house and suddenly the skies opened up last Shabbat. It was really amazing thing. Remember, we have a rainy season in Israel. It only rains really between the end of, say, around April and it only rains, between October and April. And so to have an early rain was quite a blessing. The Palestinian Authority is removing all mentions of Jewish historical connections to the land of Israel or to Jerusalem from their school textbooks. It's also removing any mention of any agreements that have been signed between the Palestinian Authority and Israel. Well, so much for planting the seeds of coexisting and peace. We all know it starts with the kids, it starts with the textbooks. So we'll have to monitor that. This week as well, the night before Yom Kippur, which began Tuesday night. So Monday night, more than 100,000 Jews piled in, jammed in the area by the Western Wall for the final night of what's called the Slichot, which are the special prayers offered from before Rosh Hashanah until the night before Yom Kippur, a special Yom Kippur prayers, or penitential prayers. More than 100,000 Jews packed in. It was amazing. I was not there, but I was there the week before, where there probably was also about, tens of thousands, but it was an amazing sight from all the videos and pictures I've seen. Let's see. Of course, I'm sure many of you have heard, in Germany on Yom Kippur, there was a terrorist attack on a synagogue in Germany where 80 people were praying inside. Luckily, the terrorist was not able to get in. The doors were secured with bomb-proof and bulletproof material. Sadly, though, 2 people were killed outside. The attack was meant to be a massacre. We know he had 4 kilograms, which is nearly 9 pounds of explosives in his car. And the assailant was a German citizen, simply identified as Stefan B. He was, like I said, he was unable to get his way in, but he's now in custody. Now, I'll add as a note here, I would highly recommend that all Jews considering coming home to the land of Israel. In any event, I know it's not always practical for everybody, but something definitely to consider with all the incredible rise in anti-Semitism that's going on. In Germany, there were 48 acts of anti-Semitism this past year, up from 21 the year before. Okay, Netanyahu condemns a Turkish invasion. He said, "We are prepared to assist the gallant Kurdish people." If you hadn't heard, Turkey invaded northern Syria, which is where the Kurdish are, and Netanyahu strongly condemned that. A couple more stories. This week, the PA reversed its decision and it will accept the tax money that Israel had been collecting on their behalf. They refused to accept it because Israel was deducting the amount that the Palestinians were paying to the terrorists for slaughtering Israelis, in a program that's called, we've spoken about this before, called Pay to Slay. So Israel was deducting that from the tax revenues, and so the Palestinian Authority refused all the tax revenues. So now they changed their opinion. They're going to accept the tax revenues minus whatever Israel deducts from that total, which equals the amount that the Palestinians are paying the terrorists to kill Jews, Israelis, foreigners, Westerners, and so on. And in the final story of the week, a great feel-good story. 2 Arab plumbers who are brothers. They refused to receive payment from a Jewish client from Haifa once they learned that she was a Holocaust survivor. And he said, I quote, "Her story touched my heart. At that moment," meaning when he heard the story, "I decided not to charge her an agura," which is like a penny. And he continued, "Money is important, but it's not the most important. It's important to be a good human being," which is incredible. The receipt that they gave the woman, the plumbers put the sum total at 0. And in the column for the description of the work, they wrote, "Holocaust survivor." And they also added the traditional Jewish greeting, wishing her good health until the age of 120, and then included their names on the slip of paper. Isn't that a beautiful story? That makes me think there is hope for peace in this region. Anyone, wishing you all Shabbat Shalom. Have a great week. We have the holiday of Sukkot, Tabernacles, coming up Sunday night. Wishing you all blessings from Israel. Moshe Rothschild, the Global Israel Alliance.